Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So, it has probably been brought to your attention by me that I've moved, and this means that I have had to redecorate my office completely. So, of course it's been requested by some of you that I should do another bookshelf tour, which, yes, love to do these videos. I think they're a lot of fun to watch as well, so totally up for that. And so that's what we're doing today, another bookshelf tour. A few things before we get started. These are the Billy bookcases from IKEA. You have seen them everywhere on both Instagram, but also a lot of other booktubers have them. They are cheap-ish, I want to say. Well, I don't know compared to other bookcases, but I would say they're cheap. Easily customizable because you can take off the shelves, add new shelves, you know. You can get them both a little bit shorter than the ones I have. I have this like top bit added to all of them just for extra height or for an extra shelf. And if any of the shelves should start to sag in the middle or whatever that it's called, you know what I mean, you can literally just change it out with the new shelf. So like they're very good, very quality, high quality shelves, I would say. I have 3 wide ones, 2 skinny ones, and then I have another half height wide one that I'm gonna tour today, show off in this video, plus this book cart that you might be able to spot down in the corner. I can't remember what that is called, but it's also from IKEA. Not very pricey either. Actually, when I bought it, it was a little bit pricier than it was now because prices went up for a little bit on IKEA, but they're down again. So I'm not salty about it. I'm not. It's fine. But you can get it in both black, white, and possibly yellow or something like that. It's just a very good, versatile book cart, or I use it as a book cart. But that said, I'm gonna try to make sure that I go through everything, more or less, but I won't show you the covers of every single book. Because I have like I have over 600 books. I will say 150 of them are currently wrapped over on this shelf, so we're not gonna go through that one because it would be pointless. But that still means we have another 450 plus to show today. So these videos always take a long time to do, and I think that means we should just get started because otherwise I'm gonna be here past midnight and I'm gonna get complaints from my neighbors who are trying to sleep. We can't have that. I just moved in. Can't move again, right? Okay, let's get started. Don't know why I had to snap there, but let's just go with it. So starting out with my book cart, these are books that I'm currently reading, or that, actually no, not currently reading. These are the ones that I should be reading. So we have some that I have been reading for a while. This was the first one that I unwrapped from my bookcase with wrapped up books. We have ones that I'm reading with the book club this month, along with Fourth Wing, but that's in my living room. We have some manga that I have borrowed from my brother. These are Berserk. I borrowed volume 1 to 5, but there are also books that I'm planning on reading in vlogs, for example. So some of these I'll be reading in a vlog, not this upcoming week, but the week after. But in general, just like books that I've taken off of my shelves within the last like 3 months that I'm supposed to be reading, but I keep picking up arcs instead, for example. But this is what my book cart is. Don't think I have anything like particularly noteworthy here right now. This is an Owl Crate special edition though, so maybe like a little bit noteworthy. It's the sequel to Legendborn. It's signed, has funny end papers, has a little bit going on underneath the dust jacket, but she's over here because she got picked off the shelves. So the bottom row on my book card though are books that I have hauled recently and also featured in my book haul. So these are basically waiting to be wrapped up, also in brown paper. Because yes, I'll continue doing that even though I'm just gonna end up with half a library that is wrapped up in brown paper. But you know, at some point I'll be like, okay, you're being ridiculous. Start reading your books instead of continuing to read on your Kindle. It'll happen at some point. I'm super excited to read Mile High next month though. I've heard so many good things about this, so very, very excited for this one. I have read From Look Up With Love before, which is such a good slow burn romance. Highly recommend if you're looking for something like that. Enemies to Lovers, workplace romance, so good. But I read it on KU and then it came out in the UK as a paperback, so I decided to get it. These 4, I had saved for a video, but I don't think that video is happening, so now I'm just gonna wrap them up. And then we have A Clash of Kings in the background. But I started rewatching Game of Thrones recently, so I was like, okay, we can put this one. I've had this since like 2012 or something like that. It's turning a little bit yellow. I think this edition is from 2011. I don't know, I'm not used to like old paperbacks, but she's old by now for a paperback. I don't know. Totally unread though, which is a shame. So it went in the TBR cart. It's gonna get wrapped up. At some point I'll read it. This I've heard is heartbreaking, but I don't know. We'll see at some point. We'll see. I also have other books that are newer, but I haven't shown them in a book haul yet, so they're just hiding in my closet right now. Also, half of them are still in boxes, so we'll feature those at another time, but I do have some extra ones that are completely new. But anyway, that was my my TBR card, I think. I really need to read some of these books. I know, I really do. I really need to. Ignore the mess in the background. We don't see it. And then before we move on to the tall bookcases, this is my half-height one. I am not showing the bottom row, the bottom shelf, just because it's basically just classics. I'll maybe show you a couple of them. Such as, everyone should know this book. This is the OG Enemies to Lovers. It's amazing. You should read it. I'm just saying. I've also heard that Emma by Jane Austen is so good, so that'll be happening at some point. I also have these 3 classics that are from Crate. They're collectibles. So they featured these in 3 different boxes. I don't know if they're still doing them. It's been a while since the last one, but I really like this like redesigned book. I think it's cool. So I know classics aren't necessarily like the most popular reading material on either BookTube or TikTok, but I like having these. I like them. So I like these editions. So I wouldn't mind some extra ones, you know? And I know I just talked about my Clash of Kings from 2011 being old, but these are Danish editions of Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings 2 and 3. And these are from, I can't actually remember. This is from 1978. Does that? No, 73. I can't see from this distance. This is from 1973. This is old. Like, this is super old. I will never read this because I'm afraid that it's gonna fall apart, but also I think I'm okay reading it in English, to be honest, but like, it's so old for a book, just want to say. The Return of the King is also from 1973, so... And The Hobbit right here is from 1975. I am so scared they're gonna fall apart. I like how these have been so well loved, quite clearly. They were my dad's. He gave them to me because I was like, can I have the Lord of the Rings? And he was like, okay, you can have these. And I'm like, I'm not gonna read these because I'll break them. But now I have them. As for these shelves though, we have some romance. So it's basically split up in these are colorful and these are not. And then these 2 are actually fantasy romance. I don't know if you can see the top shelf up here. No, you can't. But I have about Esmeralda not being a Disney princess, but she's here as an honorary one. I have 11 of these Disney Girl Funko Pops. I'm missing a couple of them, but I love them. So I think I'm missing like 3 of the Disney princesses total. I can't remember. But anyway, as for the books though, I have the first one, the fine print of these. I just haven't read it, so it's wrapped up. I also have the first one of this trilogy, which I cannot remember what it's called. Flock? Yes, it's called Flock. But I haven't read it, so it's also wrapped up. I know, buying the whole series before you read the first one is it's a bit of a gamble, but I'm okay with that. I have read these 6 when I was a little bit younger and enjoyed them back then. I think, however, now that I won't actually like them. But, you know, you change throughout the years. This, however, is one of the best, one of the most beautiful romance books that exists, in my opinion. So I also have my Afterlife box here as filler, basically. I'm gonna have to move it at some point, but for now, it's staying here just to take up a little bit of space. Up here we have gorgeous Emily Henry books. This is my newest Emily Henry, Happy Place. It's an Afterlight edition, so it has these amazing stenciled or printed edges, and also it has art on the naked cover that I just love. I love this customization. I haven't read Happy Place, but I've read Beach Read and Book Lovers, and I have People We Meet on Vacation, but it's currently wrapped up. I just don't read my special editions. I don't like it because I like to tab and annotate and stuff, and I don't like writing in them or highlighting in them, so I'm probably gonna borrow it from Libby at some point. I also have Love on the Brain as a special edition, but that one's actually wrapped up because I got this one recently, so very excited to read it though. Like, extremely excited to read Love on the Brain. Currently reading Twisted Games by Ana Huang, but after I'm done with that with the book club, we're moving on to Twisted Hate. Loved the Spanish love deception. I'm a little bit nervous for the American Roommate situation or whatever it's called, but we'll see. The Love Hypothesis. This is the Afterlight edition. I got it in the second round, so it's a reprint, which means that it has a digital signature instead of an actual one, but I'm okay with that. I just love having the reprint. I just love having a special edition of it because I love the book. The Heart Principle I've not read, but I have read The Kiss Quotient. The Bride Test is currently wrapped up, so I'm just waiting for that to turn up in one of my TBRs at some point. But I've heard that The Heart Principle is so much better than The Bride Test, so I'm looking forward to it. If Only You is the 6th book in the Bergman Brothers series, so I pre-ordered it without knowing it was the 6th one. Now I gotta wait until I got and read through the other 5. But this is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, and it's the Afterlight edition. Sorry, Rapunzel, you gotta go downstairs. So I have The True Love Experiment as well, which was the May book in their box. And these are redesigned covers. They're gorgeous. Both also have stenciled edges and foil print on the naked covers. And I'm so happy I have these because I love them. The aforementioned Kiss Quotient can highly recommend if you're looking for some steam. I have partially read, spoiler alert, and I didn't really like it, but these two are Afterlight editions. Have read My Killer Vacation. It's okay. Not amazing, but kind of funny. Archer's Voice is hands down one of the best contemporary romances I've read, and you should read it, definitely. The Love Hypothesis, also been mentioned. This is a sequel. I have not read the first one, but I have both this and Powerless. This is Heartless. What is the first one called? Reckless is the 4th one. I have the first one. I can't recall the title. It's something less, but it's wrapped up. Twisted Love, super steamy, have read it. Every Summer After, beautiful. I've read it. Things We Never Got Over, loved it, but I know that's like a bit of a polarizing book. In a holiday, it's just a fun Christmas romance. It happened one summer. I loved it, but I also know it's kind of like the same situation with Things We Never Got Over. And lastly, we have Loath to Love You, which is another Ellie Hazelwood, also an Afterlight edition, and it has a redesigned cover with the Polaroids. I hope my face wasn't showing at any point, but like I have to sit quite close to the camera to do this, so if not, I hope you like my nose. But anyway, or if I showed, I hope you like my nose. But yeah, that was my romance shelf. That said, I have a lot more romance. It's just wrapped up at the moment. I've gone a little bit on a romance buying binge lately, so like I have a lot by now, but I love that it's so colorful. So anyway, moving on to my other bookcases. So first off, I just wanted to show you the wrapped up bookcase. We are book 175, but I've unwrapped about 20 or 22 of them. So I had to redo the whole arrangement of them when I moved, which means that there's literally no books in between now, like it's just wrapped up books. But the next time I grab one from the shelf, I'm gonna put one that I've read in its place so that it'll start to slowly look more colorful, because that's the goal, you know. But yeah, it's a fun project. But on this shelf, I have a llama from EA. It's a present from them because I do Sims videos. Then I have the original paperback covers of Echo Tar and Echo Meth, and I am really mad that they didn't continue these covers. I get the whole like they look YA, but like you can actually see Feyre's hair color in this, you know? I don't know, I just like these a lot better than the new-ish covers, but it's a shame. This is hands down, no disrespect to the artist, but it's downgrade. It is. Other than that, I have Priory of the Orange Tree, but I have 2 other of that book, so we're going to talk about that later. I have Where the Crawdads Sing, which I think is a historical fiction mystery. The Vanishing Half, which is a contemporary. And lastly, my super colorful, very vibrant edition of Bunny that I've read. And this is weird. I talk about it in another video. I have a lot of thoughts on this. It's weird, but it's kind of fun. And that was this top shelf, so moving on to that one over there. So this shelf is my white, black / purple kind of shelf with fantasy, and then there's like one contemporary, I think. We have John Wick and also Dog, who I got from my sister and her husband. And this mug is the Song of Achilles mug that came with one of the Illumicrate monthly boxes. And I love these two, so I don't want to talk about it because I'll start crying, but Song of Achilles, yay! As for this shelf, I've probably not read a lot on this shelf, I'm not gonna lie. What I have read is XOXO by Axio. It's the YA contemporary, but it's also the YA contemporary romance that made me realize that I'm not really for YA contemporary romance. It's just a little bit too young for me. Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas was lovely though. It's YA fantasy, but I don't know, I really like the vibe in it. Nature of Witches is another YA fantasy by Rachel Griffin that I also really liked. Definitely a fall read, so, and with witches. Many, many witches. And a bit of an enemies to lovers situation, but they're not trying to kill each other. Like, we're not taking it that far. Then we have the aforementioned The Song of Achilles, which we do not talk about. It's an amazing book. Would recommend it, but it'll break you into 1,000 pieces. This is another really good fall read. The Secret Society of Irregular Witches, another one with lots and lots of witches. Cozy vibes, it's really good. I really adored it. Also a bit of an enemies to lovers situation. If you're looking for fantasy without romance in it though, The Stardust Thief delivers. And this is the Fairy Loot edition, so it has sprayed edges, a colorway change, and super cute end papers as well. There's a little bit more going on with it, but Defy the Night is YA fantasy romance and I love it. It's a Robin Hood retelling and you should definitely read it. It'll like grab you from the start and then it just continues. Very nicely paced. Grace Thing is a bit of like a classic YA fantasy by now, I think. Not really like the classic, but I think it's been around for a while. It's also highly popular. I've read the first one, I liked it, and I really adored the lead character as well. She's very badass. And then this is, I have two of these, but like two of the Illumicrate edition of Book of Night. This is the one that I read and tabbed. This one I read because there's a flaw on it, so I got a new one, I got a replacement. Not the best book out there. That's all I gotta say on that. As for the rest, I have not read, but I have Raybearer, the first one. It's just wrapped up. I don't actually have An Ember in the Ashes, which is kind of awkward. We gotta rectify that situation. These are the Bone Witch trilogy, and they are the Illumicrate edition. The Red Scholar's Wake is also the Illumicrate edition. The picture, the cover on this is stunning, but apparently the book is very weird, and I'm not super excited about it, I'm not gonna lie. This is the Fairy Loot edition of the Foxglove King. I actually have an ARC of this, so I should read it at some point. The thing about this edition, or this copy, is that it has like the most off-centered edges that I've ever received, and also has like a thing on the back, so I was supposed to get a replacement. It never arrived, so they gave me my money back, but now I have like a super flawed edition of the Foxglove King. So that's a thing. I do have the first one of the Mistborn trilogy. It's just wrapped up at the moment, and I also have the Poppy War, but that's in my TBR cart, which you might have seen before. Also have the first one of the, I have Seven Devils, but that one's also wrapped up. So yeah, my purple, white, black shelf. This shelf is what I like to call my fantasy romance shelf. You literally cannot even see the bottom book, but that's from Blood and Ash. It's literally like this black stripe right here, that's from Blood and Ash. And that's why I have the Fairy Loot foiled mug from Blood and Ash. I'm very lucky that I'm tall. Like, I don't, my shoulders are hurting by now. But anyway, so it's gorgeous, stunning, and is therefore placed close to the books. I'm not gonna take those three down because I'll be standing here with cramping shoulders. But as for the rest though, we have Frost and Ambrosia by C.N. Crawford. Frost was so good, Ambrosia, unfortunately not so much. We have the Dark Elements books 2 and 3 by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but book 1 is currently wrapped up. It's urban fantasy, romance. I will read them at some point. Kind of a little bit of an older series by now, I think, but yeah. Then we have The Plated Prisoner 1, 2, 3. I'm currently reading book 4, Glow, but yes, these beautiful books up here. And then I will rave about this book until everyone's read it. I think it's amazing. It's Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. She's beautiful. Love Tasana. I really need to read the sequels. I can't remember what the sequel is called, book 2, but this is book 3. Look how thick this is. It weighs so much. But book 2 is currently wrapped on my bookcase, so. I actually have book 2 of Fortuna Sworn incoming. It's going to be traditionally published though, so it won't be the same size as this, but it's not an issue. It's a little bit of an issue. but I think it's called Restless Slumber, right? But that's on its way to me right now. And then we have The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. If you want something that gives like From Blood and Ash or A Court of Thorns and Roses vibes. There's a lot out there by now, but this is like one of the first, I feel, series that came out after those that actually gave me that vibe, although there's not a lot of magic in them, if any. But Aaron and Laura are so good together, so just want to say, yes, you should definitely look into it. And that was my fantasy romance shelf. I don't have a lot of it apparently. I mean, I do. It's just apparently not. I feel like I do, but where is it? I don't know. Moving on. So this shelf is what I want to call my YA mystery, but there's a little bit more than just that. I actually don't have a lot of YA mystery, but I also don't think there is a lot of YA mystery. So, but anyway, I have Grogu. I have like 4 Grogus around my office, but I really adore Baby Yoda. So obviously, like, what's not to adore? This is a Kingdom of the Wicked mug from Illumicrate. The art on the Illumicrate mugs is always done by Rosie Thorns 88, by the way, who is basically my favorite bookish artist. So I love these mugs very much. But it's standing up here because Kingdom of the Wicked is up here. As for the books, we have Truly Devious 1 to 5. 2 is currently wrapped up. So I do have 3, 4, and 5, even though I've only read book 1. I'm very confident that I like this series, okay? I have read these Hollow Vows and these Twisted Bonds, which also giving EchoTar, but in a YA way. Just want to say, don't think like amazing literature though, it's just a good time, yes. I have the whole trilogy of the Inheritance Cycle, or the Inheritance Games I think it's called, by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but book 1 is currently wrapped. I have read the first 2 in Stalking Jack the Ripper by Karen Maniscalco. Book 3 is currently wrapped, and then I still have book 4. This is the Mara Dyer trilogy. Book 1 is in my book cart at the moment. I bought these all 3 used, and they are in such good condition. Like, these cannot have been read, I swear. They're in such good condition. I don't get it. I'm pretty sure I bought them used at least. Like, I feel like I would remember if I bought them new. I have read Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Cursed. Kingdom of the Feared is currently wrapped. It'll be one of the books that I have to read this year before the year is over, so that will be happening. The Aurora Cycle is super funny by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, and you should definitely read it if you want to read some YA science fiction with a lot of humor in it. Then we have Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kimmerer, which is actually a spin-off of A Curse So Dark and Lonely, so that's why it's up here, even though I haven't read it, but I don't want to read a spin-off before reading the main series. Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young is an adult mystery with fantasy. It's very cozy, but also a little bit slow-paced. So if you're looking for like vibes for fall time, I would recommend looking into this. Also a little bit heavy on the romance, like definitely a very central plot in this book, but it had good vibes. And lastly, we have, oh, that's damaged, oh no. But we have my Twin Crowns edition, or my Fairy Loot edition of Twin Crowns by Catherine Wepper and Catherine Doyle. I haven't read this edition, but I have read it on Kindle. So it's a really good book. I enjoyed it. It's about 2 princesses that are twins that have ended up on opposite sides in this like kingdom that they live in, because it's witches versus humans and stuff happens. So, and I can finally rest my shoulders because now we're at the proper height for me, so let's raise this, or let's lower this down a little bit. And that puts us at one of my 2 blue, red, green shelves. There's a lot of series that end up having blue, red, and green covers if you haven't noticed. So they end up looking, or they end up together on my cases. But we have Pichu and Pikachu, Funko Pops. I loved Pokemon as a kid. I still like Pokemon, so... And then we have another Kingdom of the Wicked mug. This is by Fairy Loot though. Another mug that is very foiled with the snake here in the background. This is lovely. The artwork is lovely on this. To zoom in a little bit, you can see it. It's not very easy to capture on camera because it's a very dark motif, but it's super lovely. And the camera doesn't want to focus, of course. That's also a thing. As for the books though, we have book 2 in the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. I have book 1, but again, it's wrapped. We have Prison Healer trilogy by Lynette Noni, which is lovely, very lovely fantasy romance, YA, would definitely recommend. We have book 1 and 3 in The Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Book 1 is so funny, so good. YA contemporary mystery, and it's so good. Pippa is like such a good lead character. We have the Arc of Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman, which were some of the first YA sci-fi books that I read when I got back into reading. And I loved them, especially book 2. Book 2 left me like my jaw on the floor. The ending, yes. This is random, but it's The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. It's just because there was no room left with the other books, and it's blue, so it's over here instead. We have the Serpent and Dove trilogy by Shelby McHuron. I loved the first book, and then I started book 2, and it was such a drag. So I just can't make myself get rid of it yet. Like, I don't know why. I think it's because I love book 1 so much. I really like Lou as a character, but yeah, no. Book 2 just sucked. Anyway, this is the sequel to Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. Book 1 is wrapped. We have Arstolia and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, another YA contemporary. This one I loved, gave it 5 stars. They have, Arstolia and Dante have a very like quick back and forth kind of chemistry, and I really adored it. House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, which is another like feel-good fantasy with some romance in it as well. The children in this are so funny. Finlay Donovan is Killing It is an adult contemporary mystery with just like a hint of romance, and I loved it so much. Finlay Donovan is hilarious. You should read it. So good. If you just need to like laugh, you should read this book. We have The Gilded Ones by Navina Forna, which is the first in the Deathless series, I think it's called. Super original, just kind of confusing at times. We also have A Torch Against the Night, which is the second book in the Ember Quartet, but I still don't have the first one. I don't have the third one either, so I don't know, it's kind of awkward. It's an awkward situation. And then we have the sequel to Jade City. Jade City is currently wrapped on my shelves, as you can probably guess by now, but I'm very confident that I love it, so that's why I also have the sequel. Kind of hoping to read Jade City with the book club at some point, but we'll see. Moving on quickly to this shelf over here. Because here we have 2 of my Barnes & Nobles. So we have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Other Stories. I really love these editions, and I want more of them, especially Beauty and the Beast, the pink one. Yes. Love them. I need to read some of these though soon, I think. And the other one is Jane Austen's 7 novels, because you know, it's not like I don't already have 3 of her 7 books as individual books, but Pride and Prejudice is one of the best books that I've ever read. So I got this from my mom for like an Advent present a couple of years ago, and I just love it so much. This right here is Sylveon, who's a Pokemon, and she's cute. And this here is a book tin from Fairy Loot, I think it is. It's inspired by the Scorpio races. So, by Maggie Steve Fader. I think it's from Fairy Loot at least. And that was this shelf. Not a whole lot of books on it, so moving on. There's a little bit more going on this book shelf. We have black and blue books and several special editions here as well. So first off, this is a candle from Owl Crate inspired by the Raven Boys, which, what does it smell like? I don't actually know. It says acres of slumbering dream creatures. Craftsmen of your wildest dreams. What? It also says Lynch and Sons. I'm guessing if you read the Raven Boys, you would understand what that means, but I don't. I don't know what the smell is or what the scent is though. I'm gonna just say that it's acres of slumbering dream creatures. Yes. This right here is one of the newer Fairy Loot items actually. It's like a postcard made out of wood, and the art depicts Olympus. And this one over here is my other EA llama. This one was given to me in connection with the release of High School Years. What's it called? That one. The one with the high school stuff. So it looks fancy, like it's going to a prom. And I love it. I think these are super goofy. So as for the books though, we have, let's start over here from now. Like for this one, let's just mix it up a little bit. We have Blood Cyan. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I have the Owl Crate edition as well, but it's currently wrapped on my shelves, so I will be reading this at some point. This is a colorway change, and this is one of the first books that I got with art on, or like it's the cover, but on the naked cover, and I really like it. I like how it looks with the blue edges as well because it matches her face. This is the one that has like the best color scheme for the inside dust jacket art. I love this color scheme. I think it's so good. This is another Fairy Loot edition. It's Silver in the Bone by Alexander Bracken. This is very new. I think it was the April book or May book, something like that. Not my favorite edition, but I do love the edges. The edges are stunning. So then we have Shatter Me, which I've read, didn't love, but willing to continue with the series though. We Hunt the Flame, which I did love, and I'm very much willing to read Refree the Stars, so I'll be doing that very soon. Some Desperate Glory, which I actually finished very recently, and it was a lot of fun. The Witch Collector, which I read with the book club very recently as well. Fantasy romance, but it's blue and there's no more room on my fantasy romance shelf, so it's on this one instead. Lovely. We have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, along with Mysteries of Thorn Manor. The Luminaries, this is the Owlcrate edition. Hyde, which is an independently published book. I think it's fantasy romance, but don't quote me on it. I've had it for years and I've not read it yet. I'm not getting rid of it though. This is the Illumicrate edition of The Stolen Heir. So it has the dust jacket done by Rosie Thorns, and underneath it looks like this, and it's stunning. And apparently this is only a duology. I thought it would be a trilogy. I don't mind, I just think it's funny. Like, for some reason I convinced myself that it was a trilogy. But this edition also has super nice end papers that I love. And I also really like these edges. But yeah, duology apparently, not trilogy. I'm surprised. We have the Fairy Loot edition of The Darkening by Sonia Mara, the Illumicrate edition of The Bear and the Nightingale, which I have been wanting these books as hardcovers. I have not read them, but I just prefer hardcovers for fantasy books. And so they announced that they were gonna do a box, a whole box. I bought the whole box despite not having read it. But I really, really want them as hardcovers, and Rudy Beetle did the cover. I know this is not necessarily everyone's taste, but I really like it. And then it looks like this underneath, and I love it. And I love the edges, and I'm very excited to have it. We have the sequel to The Wrath and the Dawn, which is currently wrapped, and also the sequel to, oh, this series is called Gumiho. Wicked Fox, yes, but that one's also wrapped. This is actually bought used, again in very nice condition. Just a little bit torn on the bottom. This is the Fairy Loot edition of Foul Lady Fortune. I have Last a Violent Call coming to me at some point because I have purchased it, so I'm just waiting for the sequel to this one so that I can have the full set, which I prefer to have. I love these edges. I can't remember what this means, but if you can read it, let me know. These symbols, Chinese symbols. Look at this in paper art. It's so good. And the foiling on the naked cover is so good. This is the Illumicrate edition of The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. I actually also have the Owlcrate edition, but that one's wrapped up at the moment because I've not read it and I wanna. And then we have the Owlcrate edition of Divine Rivals, which was their May book, I think. Oh, that means Silver in the Bone was the Fairy Loot April book. Okay, so this was the first one that they've done with stenciled edges. Mine are off-centered, but we can still appreciate the motif. I get these from them for free, so I don't want to complain about it. But like, it looks nice. I like the color scheme on the dust jacket a lot as well. Oh, and also it has funky end papers too. And I believe it also has inside dust jacket art. Yeah. It does, which looks so good. I love this artist. Lastly, we have Owlcrate edition of Grey Warren, and then I bought Call Down the Hawk used. I don't have Mr. Impossible, and these are spin-off of Raven Boys, which is why this one is not currently wrapped. And then I have the Owlcrate edition of the Raven Boys as well. Some people were kind of disappointed by the look of this, but I really like it. I like the vibe. So, I don't know, I think it looks nice, like this dark-ish vibe. I really like it. But that was the blue shelf. Moving on. So on this shelf we have like pink and teal, I want to call it. We also have Mando with Baby Yoda. I know he looks kind of funny. I don't know why his head is so like attached or detached from his body, but I don't know what happened. These are mostly special editions. I kind of don't like to move these around, but I'll show you this one at least because she's stunning. So this is Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Emily Wen Xiao, and it's the Illumicrate edition. These are the most stunning edges or some of the most stunning edges that I've ever seen. So gorgeous, and I gasped when I took off the dust jacket and saw this. This is beautiful. I can actually also show you The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. This is from last year. It's Fairy Loot. It's just a colorway change, but I really like how the coral stands out. Love the end papers though. The end papers are so insanely beautiful. And I adore these edges as well with the dragon. I think they're so good for this book. Quite a cute read as well. If you're looking for like a YA fantasy with some romance, although a little bit confusing at times. This is the Fairy Loot edition of Spice Road. I actually have an ARC of this, so I should read it. It came out in January. Really like the edges on this one. I think they're quite unique. And I love the character art in this because like, look at how stunning these people are. They're so beautiful. And this is the naked cover as well. As for the others, we have The City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer, which is the Fairy Loot edition, and also the Illuminated editions of A Marvelous Light and A Restless Truth by Freya Marsk, plus Alone with You in the Ether by Ollie B. Blake in the bottom, which I tried to read and then had to stop. So, but I'll pick it up at some other point. I'm sure that it was just like wrong timing, you know? But yeah, my pink and, or like coral pink and teal kind of shelf. I like this color combination a lot. Moving down one shelf, we start with my Sarah J Maas books. So these are Crescent City 1 and 2, Illuminate, Fairy Loot. Yes, I have both sets because I really love Sarah J Maas. I don't care, call me basic if you want. I literally do not care. These are stunning. I love them. I mostly love end papers with I can't remember if it's Lehaba or Lebara. Lehaba. Anyway, reversible dust jacket as well. I will show you. I'm so awkward on that side. I can't do it. I'm afraid I'll drop the book. Hold on a minute. But this is what the dust jacket art looks like. So if I want to, I can reverse it. This is Bryce and Danica. The fun thing about the Illuminated edition of Crescent City though is that without spoiling any of the story, we have these overlays that are so good. Like, the art is so good. So I'm only going to show you a couple more. I'm not going to show you any from the sequel because I just don't want to spoil the story for you. But here's Bryce and Hunt and, oh, and also Rune in the background. And hold on. I'm gonna solve this mystery right now. It's just that it's so many letters put together that I keep forgetting what her name is. I love her though. Lehaba. Lehaba loves to watch this TV show, so that's what she's doing in her little chair. She's adorable. While the others are doing some research. But I really love that they did page overlays. I will show you the end pages though, because they look like this and are stunning, and then the naked cover looks like that. As for these, the Fairy Loot editions, they have redesigned covers. Both came in slipcases as well, so we have a lot going on here. Slipcase is quite foily with a foiled autograph or signature on the bag as well. These have, you know, fully redesigned covers with lots of foil, and also these funky sprayed edges is what they're called. These are off-centered, I know, but not enough for me to complain about it. And they also have character end paper art, foil on the naked cover, different character end paper art in the back. This is Hunt and Rune. I think both of them also have ribbon bookmarks, but I'm not planning on reading them, so like it's not really something that I think about. I don't read my special editions for the sole reason that I'm clumsy and I will drop them. I just know what's gonna happen. But this as well has foil, lots of foil on the slipcase. But I love these like animals they have on. Oh, and Poseidon as well. Well, it's a trident, but it's because the water people have, you know, are featured a lot in this book. Love the snake, but the foil with the animals is just like, yes. And then we have Hunt foiled on the naked cover. Bryce and Hunt looking fabulous. And in the back we have Cormac, who you might not know if you've only read book 1, but he's the one on the left, and Therion over here on the right. So, well, I never noticed his hand until now. That's cool. Yeah, I wonder why I hadn't noticed his hand. Anyway, I love these books. I take very good care of them. And I just love looking at them. They make me happy. So we're moving on to the next shelf though, which is my Sarah J Maas shelf. So here we have my hardbacks. We have the 2 US editions of Crescent City along with the UK edition of House of Sky and Breath. I have read these. It's the whole thing. It's not, I wasn't supposed to have this, but It's a whole thing. I don't know, anyway. These are bought on Etsy, where I like to buy bookish candles when I can afford it, which is not often because I keep buying books instead, but they smell nice. As for the books, we have Equitar, which is, I need to reread it so badly. Also, I have not read it since I got these hardcovers, and I really desperately need to tap them because there's nothing going on the edges, and I just need to tap them. This is the most amazing book ever. I love it. If you love fantasy romance, you need to read this series, okay? You need to. Don't read this in public. Take it from me. Do not even think about it. Don't read this in public. Or that one. Or that one. Or these. The first couple of these are fine. But like, just don't, okay? Trust me. You will not be safe. This is Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass as a series means a lot to me because it's one of the series that really got me into fantasy reading. I know that Selena is a little bit of like, she makes some questionable choices now and then and she's a little bit full of herself, but I just love her as a character. So, and everything that goes on in these, I just love it. Yeah, these are two completely different series because there's like, this is very much like fantasy and the world is in danger. The world is also in danger here, but this is like heavy on the romance, whereas this is less so. It's like, I don't know, two different series for two different purposes, if you get what I mean. Yeah, I don't know. If you want to get into fantasy reading, I would recommend this because it starts out very easy to read with Throne of Glass. And then it slowly becomes like more and more. Like the world building is very slow and then suddenly it starts small and then suddenly there's a whole like, whoa, you know what I mean? So I would recommend this as like a starting point. Just be aware that the first couple of books are YA and then it stops being YA, which I think is a good choice for Sarah J Maas. I'm happy that she made that decision. I still need alternative dust jackets for these books, but we haven't gone there yet. These are collector's editions. I've gotten both of them from one of my best friends who knows how much I love these series, so she gave me both a Court of Thorns and Roses collector's edition and also the Throne of Glass one, which has the end papers and word marks on the pages as well over here, which is very nice. And this has a slipcase, so it's stunning underneath. Like, look at this beauty. Actually stunning. Like, oh, it's so good. The wolf right here and Feyre standing right there. I just love this. It's so beautiful. But yes, I love Sarah J Maas. That is just a thing here on the channel. So anyway, I know it's just because I know that there's a lot of people who like to not love Sarah J Maas, but I do. So we're moving on though. On this shelf we have my Quête d'Âme candle, also from a shop on Etsy. If I can remember to, it's called Eastlight Candles. If I can remember, I will link to it. I don't actually know if it's still active, but if it is, I'll try to remember. As for the books though, we have the collector's editions of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Love these books to bits as well. The Crows are my babies. I love them. I love their banter. I love their relationships. These are the Fairyloot editions of Legend. So obviously you can see they have nice spines. As for the covers though, lots of foil. We also have stenciled edges on all 4 of the books. And I believe all 4, oh, they have end pages as well, as you can see, but I believe all 4 are actually also signed, which is kind of funny. But I haven't actually read Legend, but I saw the set and I decided, because it came out, it was released around my birthday last year, so I decided to give it to myself as a birthday present. So as for the collector's edition of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, these come with character art at the end that I love. So you can see all the 6 crows. Don't ask me who he is. I mean, I know, but like, don't ask. But I loved Jasper's probably, no, I don't know who's my favorite character. I also love Nina, but like I love all of them. You're right, you can't pick and choose your favorites between your children. You're completely right. Why did I even bother trying? Crooked Kingdom. This art I believe is done by Monolime. So we have Cass and Inej, Nina and Matthias. Oh, this is stunning. Beautiful. I mean, it's all stunning. We have Jasper and Wylan. And lastly, we have Kuwai, who, again, don't ask me. I mean, I know, but don't ask me. Really good duology, but if you don't like multiple points of views, you've been warned. But really good duology. And this is my second blue, red, and green shelf. So on this one we have a porcupine. This is technically Christmas decor, it just doesn't look very Christmassy, so he stays around for the whole year. We also have my winter night mug from Illumicrate, which is super cute, and we have some bookmarks in it. As for the books, I have the first one, The Kiss of Deception. Yes, it's wrapped up. I've not read it, but it's the Remnant Chronicles. This is The Jasmine Throne, which I've read this copy because it's just like the standard hardcover. Or library edition, I think actually it's called. Because I don't think this was actually released officially as a hardcover. Don't ask me, I don't know. These though are my Illumicrate editions of them. And one is a little bit older than the other, as you can probably see, but I love them so much. I do have City of Brass, it's just wrapped up. Hunted is a YA fantasy, which is quite lovely. It's the retelling, I think, of Beauty and the Beast. So if you're looking for something like that, might want to look into it. Very good winter read. Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves are spin-offs of the Remnant Chronicles, so that's why they're both here, but I've not read them. Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross. This is the Alcrate edition with redesigned cover. This is such a good book. YA fantasy with romance and lots of magic. Would highly recommend. We have These Violent Delights, duology by Chloe Gong, which I also really love. Romeo and Juliet retelling. Shadow and Bone trilogy, which I feel is worth reading before you go into Six of Crows, but like not the best YA. Still okay, still good, but like not the best. This is We All Fall Down. I don't have any plans to read this book, but it's the Illumicrate edition and it has really nice edges, so that's why it sticks around. But like, I don't know, I have no urge to read this book whatsoever. And then these are the Illumicrate editions of This Woven Kingdom and These Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi, which no, I've not read either, but this is like one of the most stunning books that I own, I think, with all the foil. It's so beautiful. So I decided to get the sequel without having read it. It's a thing. We're dealing with it. And lastly, we have Half a Soul and Long Shadow. 10,000 Stitches, which is the sequel, the book 2, is wrapped up at the moment, but Half a Soul is like historical fiction mixed with historical romance, I would say, mixed with fantasy. So if you're into historical romance, definitely go give it a go because it's really funny. And what's her name? Doria? Theodora. Oh, Dora. Her name is just Dora. Is such a charming character as well. So very much adored the romance in that one. And that is it for the shelf. So we're moving down. So this shelf is, there's a color scheme kind of, but I don't really know what it is. It's like cream, white, brown with a little bit of purple or something. There's a color scheme, I just can't really tell what it is, you know? But we have Carden on what are these called? I forgot, but it's Fairy Loot. So, and then we have the stunning Illumicrate editions of We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars. And I love monolime art. Rosy Thorns is one of my favorites, so is monolime art. These have really good edges as well, both of them. And the art on the foiling on the naked cover is done by Hafsa Faisal herself, which is pretty cool. If you want to see the edges on this one, this is what they look like. Then we have The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, which I've not read. I have read Cruel Prince, You Saw, The Wicked King and Queen of Nothing is over in my book cart at the moment, and I'm waiting until I've read those, until I can, or with reading How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories. I forgot how long the title was for a second. This is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, which is a YA fantasy with romance that is very heavily inspired by, oh god, what is it? Welsh mythology, I think. I think it's Welsh mythology. Sorry, it's making noises. She's a little bit gassy. Anyway, very good, very beautiful. Stiefvater has a very lyrical way of writing, which is stunning. Then we have the super cute standard editions of Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I love this one. This one I really didn't like, but I'm keeping them for the sole reason that I just love the covers. We have the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber. That is, this book it's kind of like you have to ease into it, but these two are so good. Fable and Namesake by Adrienne Young, I will recommend if you're looking for a YA fantasy duology that if you're in a reading slump, these are really good. So fast paced, and Fable is such a lovable character. The Last Legacy takes place in the same world. I didn't love it as much as the other ones, but I still think it's good. I also have Saint. It's just wrapped up at the moment. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies is... I have a bit of an unpopular opinion on this book because I didn't love it. I don't want to get into detail, but it just wasn't for me. So unfortunately, still interested in the sequel, I think. And I'm like, regardless, I'm still keeping it because the cover is so pretty. And the last one of the hardcovers is Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, and this is the Fairy Loot edition. I hope I can still order Never a Hero, but we'll see. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm gonna get the standard, but stunning, beautiful. Love this artist as well. I'm pretty sure this is Ars 28, but yeah, it is Ars 28. Okay. And in the back, like, look at this art. It's so good. So beautiful. This is YA fantasy with some time travel, and you follow the villain in the story, which is pretty interesting. I thought it was really good. I really liked it. And then we have my Throne of Glass paperbacks, which I've had them since 2016. Most of them. These 5 I've had since 2016. And I love them. And I will never get rid of them. And they're so heavily tapped that I would feel very bad getting rid of them. I love them so much. I love these books so much. So that was the shelf. Here we have my silver and gold. This is also where Fourth Wing is, but I'm currently reading it, so we're not including that in this video, but I'm currently reading it. We have the limited edition of Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood, which I know has been review bombed on Goodreads, but I'm still excited to read it at some point. We have the limited edition of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern with stenciled edges as well. Oh, I didn't show you the edges on this. Look how stunning they are. They're so good. Such good edges. And then we have also Illumicrate, but this is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I really hope, since the sequel has been announced recently, although it's not coming out until like January or March or something next year in 2024, I really hope they're gonna do a matching edition because I need more edges like this in my life, and I love this book, but like, look at the edges. This also came signed, but also had an Illumicrate exclusive house crest, which is the Voss house crest on the naked cover. This is just so stunning. So stunning. These are also my first Illumicrate books, actually. The Night Circus and Empire of the Vampire. I opened those boxes on the same day. So like, I have very good memories associated with these 2 books. My first special editions and my first Illumicrate books. They're just so good. Anyway, good memories. Circe is probably the best book that I've read this year. If you like Greek mythology, you want to read something a little bit feminist, go ahead. And these are King of Scars and Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which is the 3rd series in the Grisha-verse. I like these. I know that some people thought they were a little bit fan servicey, sure, but I didn't mind. I'm acknowledging it, and I'm still okay with it, and I like them. So that is my gold and silver shelf. So this is what I almost want to call my dark academia shelf, but it's mixed with a little bit of extra. So we have Soren from Lord of the Rings. This was a present from my brother. We have Cersei from Game of Thrones in her badass dress. I think this is before the... It has a name, that event. I can't remember, but if you have watched the series, you know which one I'm talking about. Woo, yes. This is from Illumicrate. There's nothing in it at the moment. It's inspired by the Song of Achilles. I Am Made of Memories. We have the heart as well with some arrows in it. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, bye-bye. This is a book tin, also from Illumicrate, inspired by The Night Circus, which came in the archives box that they had back then. One of my first bookish items that I've ever got. It's by Rosie Thorns, the art, and I'm just... It was meant to be this entire time, you know? Silver and Bone, the Owlcrate edition. This one I actually like more than the Fairyloot edition. I think this redesigned cover goes so well with the book. It has silver foiled edges, or gilded edges, not foiled. It also has art on the naked cover, which is very dark and mysterious, and we have this like super atmospheric art on the inside of the dust jacket. At one point I should really try to turn all my dust jackets around, the one with art on the inside, just to see what it looks like. And it also has these foiled end pages that look so good. So I feel like you can tell that this book has to do with like, would you call it the Middle Ages? Because it has ties to like, they're looking for artifacts or something. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I feel like the whole vibe makes sense with the synopsis. We have Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is the Illumicrate edition without a dust jacket on of Book of Night, and this is what it was supposed to look like. So if you saw that earlier, when I took off the dust jacket, it was completely black. This is what it was supposed to look like. So I just took the dust jacket off because it's white and it stood out a lot on the shelf. This is the Owlcrate edition of Book of Night, which I think is stunning. I just still don't love the book. But I have 3 editions of it. I'm fine with it. It's fine. Where's the last one? Oh, it's on the next shelf. We also have the Illumicrate editions of the Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox. These are super holographic. I hope you can see that there's some color to it when I do this. Also on the naked cover, it's very visible in real life, but I don't know if it's translating well through the camera. We also have end pages that are done by the artist who did the original illustrations throughout the book sometimes of the characters. So she did these, and they're in the original independently published edition as well. So they hired her to do the end pages. I think they did the same for the Fairy Loot editions actually. The artist must have been really busy all of a sudden. That's nice. That's very happy for them. But the edges on these, they're so good. I really like these edges. They look really good with some Desperate Glory as well. This shelf is almost exclusively special editions, which is so dumb, but whatever. We have Divine Rivals, which is not Dark Academia. This is the Fairy Loot edition with these super cute letter edges and this stunning colorway. This is a really well done edition, very well thought through. It's all like gray white and then with this coppery kind of foil, which also is on the end pages. You can see there's foil. These are super cute. The Whispering Dark is the Illuminated edition, and then we have 9000 also Hellbent. I took off the dust jackets because they look so good without the dust jackets on. Like, they look really good. We have Alex on these end pages. Alex Stern, who's the lead character. And then on these end pages, I'm actually reading this book this month, which I'm very excited for. But on these pages, we have Darlington. Kind of like opposites, but I don't know, he's very preppy, whereas Alex is definitely not. But I liked it. This is a lantern from Owlcrate, which is super cute. And we have the UK edition of Babel, and then we have the Illuminated edition, which I'm also going to give you a quick look of. It's upside down in slipcase for a reason that this is, if not, it's like opposite of the titles and that annoys me. But yes, an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. But it has stunning end pages that are signed in the front, or no, they're not. This is property of, but there's a signature right here. And the slipcase looks like this with foily stars on it. Oh, I did it wrong. Oops. There we go. I started reading Babel and then I stopped because I wasn't really enjoying it, but I'm willing to give it another go at some other point before I decide if I want to keep the books or not. But that was my Dark Academia / lots of special editions that are mainly black. Moving on to the golden black ones. So these are, I know this is not gold, but I still feel like this is where this is supposed to be. We have several special editions. The only one that is not is actually Dark Rise. And the sequel was finally announced recently. I really like this book. I just feel like I've been waiting for the sequel for ages by now. So this is a candle inspired by Black Sun. It's by Illumicrate and it smells like cinnamon. It smells so good, but I have not burned it. Not even a little bit. I probably should. Like, once it's gone, it's gone. I don't know. I'm very annoying like that. As for the books though, we have The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas, and the edition is by Fairy Loot. So the cover is a redesigned cover and it's done by Monolime Art, who also did, oh yeah, I do that with those books, but who also did the end pages, and I love Monolime Art so much. Monolime Art was the only reason I didn't skip this book, because I don't love ombre edges, but I love Monolime Art. So also has a lot of foil and a naked cover, and I really like this color combination, the like coppery kind of rose gold almost. It is kind of rose gold, isn't it? Yeah. And then with the gray. I think it's a good combination. This is the Illumicrate edition of God Killer, which is so beautiful. Stunning edges. But I can't show you the shelf without highlighting The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi, which is a beautiful book, both inside and out. The cover is done by Michaela Kaino, who did the original cover, which is why, the original UK cover, which is why it fits so well. And edges are some of my favorite edges that I've ever received. And it's stunning naked as well. She is gorgeous. She's beautiful. End pages are stunning and foiled as well. This is Amina, who you will love. And in the back, we also have stunning foiled end pages with the cat. I love this edition. I'm so happy that I have it. This book was the sole reason that I put myself on the Fairy Loot adult book waitlist, and I got it. I got off the waitlist just when this came out. Like, just when it came out. I'm so happy. Other than that, we have Fairy Loot Book of Night, we have the Broken Bindings edition of A Taste of Gold and Iron, and we have the Illumicrate The Luminaries edition as well, which is also super foily and stunning. And this is like so thin but so heavy. There's a lot of quality to this, I'm just saying. Beautiful edges as well. Yes. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with the sequel. And I will be there when it goes on sale. I'm just saying. I will be there. So that was my black and gold with a little bit of rose gold. I don't know. It just feels like it fits here for some reason, but it also looks a little bit different. I don't know. It's fine. So now we are at the last 12 shelves. How many shelves do I have? I don't want to count. But this is my Illumicrate Bridgerton set. I got it in the first round. I don't even know if the second round has been sent yet, but I hadn't read any of the books when I got it. I just really loved this whole like setup. So I decided to buy it for that reason, but they are so cute. They all have sprayed edges that fit with the colors, and the first one here is signed by Julia Quinn. I know that the reprint won't have the signature, but I feel like that's also fair. Julia Quinn shouldn't be writing that many signatures. It can't possibly be healthy. But they're super cute. On the sequel we have the bee, and then we have a mask, and oh, season 3 is actually coming out soon, I think, which is kind of funny. And then it just continues with other foiling. So these are just super cute, and I'm so happy that I have them. I think they look really stunning on my shelves. On the shelf we have a little bit of a funny color scheme. So this is the Daughter of the Moon Goddess mug from Fairy Loot, which I think is so good. I'm so happy that I have it because I really love Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Like, beautiful book, and it is actually a beautiful book. I'll show you in a second. But first off, we have Strange the Dreamer. I do have Muse of Nightmares as a standard edition, but it's currently wrapped up and on my shelves so that I can read it at some point. These are the Illumicrate editions of Strange the Dreamer. So they have end pages, this like printed foil on the naked cover, and inside dust jacket art, which is so good. Laszlo looks so good in this picture, I'm just saying. I really loved the first book, so I'm hoping that either Fairy Loot or Illumicrate will do a set as well, so I don't mind having more than one set of the same set of books, I'm just saying. Which you will see in a second. These are Daughter Smoke and Bone, also by Laini Taylor. That's a complete coincidence that they're next to each other. But Daughter Smoke and Bone, I also have the first one. It's just currently wrapped up. I've heard many lovely things about the series, so I decided to get all three because I'm very confident that I love it. I have Daughter of the Moon Goddess in the Fairy Loot edition, along with Heart of the Sun Warrior. And the way I feel about these books, like, so first of all, this is like probably the prettiest, or I don't know if I can, well, yeah, it's probably the prettiest book that I own. Color scheme, edges, and end pages, probably the most stunning book that I have. And then I read it and I loved it so much, so I'm so happy that I have this. It's also one of the first Fairy Loot books that I got. I think it was February last year. And then I also got the sequel, and I'm so happy that I did. I really adore the first one. So I haven't read this one yet, but I hope I like it. We have end pages in this one as well, and in the back as well. And also foiling on the naked cover of Xingyin, who I love as a character. So I'm really like, I really love like badass female characters, but Xingyin is a badass, but she's also a bit of a softie, which I adore in her. I think it suits her. This is Iron Widow by Shiran J. Zhao, and it's the Illumicrate edition. I've read this one, it's so good, and I can't wait for the sequel. This is Fire with Fire by Destiny Soria, which is actually a Fairy Loot edition from like 2021 or something. I bought it secondhand because I don't know, I love the dragon. I really love the dragon and the, what's it called, dust jacket and stuff, so, but I've not read it. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, which I have read, and I have The Ballad of Never After, but I've not read it yet. This is the Fairy Loot edition of Belladonna, which is a really good gothic, kind of like dark-ish book. Definitely consider it for a fall read. It is stunning, beautiful. It has monoline end papers, of course, and gorgeous art on the naked cover. In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune, which is the Fairy Loot edition. Owl Crate's Violet Made of Thorns and Fairy Loot's Violet Made of Thorns. This is actually, I liked it. I know it's not necessarily a popular opinion, but if you like fairy tales though, I would recommend giving it a go. We have the Fairy Loot edition of This Vicious Grace, and we have the Illuminated edition of A River Enchanted with the redesigned cover. Also a Fire Endless to match, and I just adore these. I adore these editions. I also really liked the book. I just nudged it. Okay, well, we're not gonna cry over it. But these have like the most beautiful end papers as well. Like, so stunning. Foil on the naked cover. Such gorgeous editions. Also, like, look at this. This is beautiful. So beautiful. It's funny how like having special editions of books that you really enjoy just means so much more than just having like a pretty book. Like I really, okay, maybe not the T.J. Klune one because I actually don't like this edition. But like I like having This Vicious Grace, but I've not read it. I have read A River Enchanted though, and I love the book, so I'm really happy that I have this beautiful edition of it. If I end up loving This Vicious Grace as well, I'll be so happy that I have this. It just means a lot more when you've read the book and also loved it, you know? So, but anyway, we have a very exciting upcoming shelf, so let's get going. Because this right here is my Priory or Roots of Chaos shelf. So I have two sets. I have the Broken Binding set, which has these edges, stunning end papers, foil on the naked cover. And I got both of these sets during their first round, so they are both signed as well. I'm just apparently really good at buying books. Like, I don't know. I'm really good at buying books. We have A Day of Fallen Night as well. Stunning edges, stunning end papers, stunning foil. These are just, they're so beautiful. And the Illumicrate editions as well with Ascalon and Tuva's Spear. So these have actually an exclusive cover because they did the foil in gold. They have gorgeous end papers, but also art on the naked cover. So we have the Evil Dragons on Priory. These are also very heavy, by the way, so like I am struggling at the moment. A Day of Fallen Night, also technically an exclusive cover because it has silver foiling. We have end pages that are stunning, like this is beautiful, but also the Good Dragons on this one. The difference is that the Evil Dragons have wings and the Good Dragons don't because they tend to like swim and stuff. As far as I remember, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. So you can actually see it here. This is a good dragon and this is an evil dragon because it has wings. I think it's the same on the cover. Yeah, this is a good dragon. What if it turns out that in A Day of Fallen Night, the good dragon is actually bad? And I'm just here like, oh my god, the good and the bad dragons. I haven't read it yet, so like I wouldn't know. But in Priory at least, based on Priory, I'm right. But I'm very happy that I have these. I had a friend visiting recently who was like, she saw them and she was just like, why would you have two of the same book? And I was like, I have three. And she's just like, why? And I'm like, because I like them. I like them. They're beautiful. They're stunning. They're pretty. Why wouldn't I? Anyway, so yeah, my Priory books. And that means we are at my science fiction shelf, technically. Well, yeah. It is my science fiction shelf. So on the shelf we have my, I think this is from Owl Crate actually. It's Gideon the Ninth inspired. It says one flesh, one end. It smells a little bit like soap. We have my Gideon the Ninth mug from Illumicrate. The theme for this was called We Do Bones, which I loved. And there's like a huge... Oh wait, I know this scene. I think I just realized the scene. But yeah, We Do Bones. And then we have Captain America with Mjolnir, which is one of my favorite moments from any Marvel movie ever. So I needed it. It's just a thing. But the books. We have Skyward series. What's it called, the sequel? Starsight. That one's wrapped up at the moment. I have read Skyward and I loved it, which is why I'm pretty confident having 4 books while only having read one of them. We have Winter's Orbit, which is actually bought used, but in very nice condition still, I would say. So we also have Golden Sun and Morning Star. I think both of these are bought used. One is a little bit more older than the other one. Or maybe Golden Sun isn't. I feel like it is, but it might not. No, it definitely is. Yeah, it's bought used. Which is nice, because like, hardbacks are pricey, you know? But Red Rising is currently wrapped up, so I'm pretty confident that I'll love them though, which is why I have all 3. We have Gideon, or we have the Locked Tomb. So these are the Illumicrate books, and this is just like the regular one. I love this one so much that I decided to get the whole set. My sister actually gave me this. But these are... I will show you the first one because I don't want to spoil anything on the other... Like, I don't want to spoil anything, okay? So you only get to see the first one. They have edges that have bones, because that makes sense. They also have the coolest foiling on the naked covers that have lots of, like hints. With the rapier here, we have this, like, necklace. That's not what it's called, but, like, it has another word. Keys, lots of keys. That makes sense. Two-hander, that makes sense. G and P, if you've read the book, you know. No Magnus, if you've read the book, you know. So, like, we have a lot of, like, Easter eggs in the foiling. So that's why I'm not going to show you the other ones, because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything. But if you've read the book, oh, right, Gideon, and then also the sunglasses, like, you know. So they're just blackened papers, but they're also signed. And they also come with reversible dust jackets with Gideon over here and then Harrow right here, and I just love this vibe. All three of them have this like gold touch to them, which makes sense because it kind of matches Gideon's eyes. She has like golden-ish eyes, so I like that they kept it like that. It's nice. Also just really like the vibe. So now I'm patiently waiting for Alecto the Ninth. I haven't seen the cover yet, but I have high hopes. Harrow has silver foiling and then blue edges, and Nona has purple foiling and purple edges. We also have the Illuminate Files by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, which is such a great trilogy if you're looking for YA sci-fi. Again, would recommend. And we have my Emerson Mayer books over here. So Renegades is currently wrapped up, and so is Scarlet, but these are the Luna Chronicles. I love these covers personally. I know they're kind of like not for everyone, but I love them. And then these are the Renegades trilogy. So, but yes, really liked Cinder, so I have high hopes for the rest of the Luna Chronicles. But that's this shelf, so we're moving down now to Cassandra Clare. And so this shelf is a little bit of a mess, I realize, but it's a thing. We're just gonna have to deal with it. We have Will Herondale over here on one of these other dishes. Trinket dish, is that what it's called? This is again by Fairy Loot. I have no idea what there's a flamingo in the background, but, or whatever that is. I don't actually know. I can't tell. An ostrich? Like, I don't know. It's something, right? But like, I don't know what. We have The Mortal Instruments series over here. I've had all these books since 2016. They don't look so good. I know. We'll rectify that situation at some point. The Red Scrolls of Magic, which is the sequel to The Lost Book of the White. No, this is the first one. The Lost Book of the White is the sequel, and I have it, but, and I kid you not, like, I'm not kidding. I'm not making a dumb joke, but I lost it. I don't know where it is. I just found out today. I can't find The Lost Book of the White. I know. The freaking irony. But anyway, it's somewhere. I know I have it. I just don't know where it is. So, kind of awkward. Or at least I think The Red Scrolls of Magic is the first one. Yeah, it is. Because the other one has the reversible dust jacket, which I'm using, but like I don't know where it is. The Lost Book of the White is lost. Fun times. Then we have The Dark Artifices. Lord of Shadows is currently in my TBR cart because I read this one recently and I really want to move on with the series. We also have the paperback editions. I do have the large paperback edition of Lady Midnight because this came out in 2016 and that's when I bought the paperback. So for the first year, they only sell the large paperbacks. I prefer the small ones. But I got these like in 2021, I think, and then I ended up buying the hardbacks later, like this year maybe, or last year or something. This is the Illumicrate edition of Chain of Thorns, which I only got because they came with these 3 dust jackets, which the art is done by Rosie Thorns. You see a pattern, because I definitely know there's a pattern. It does have pretty end papers though, I will say. Has pretty end papers, but the irony is that these end papers are actually also in this book, which is just like the standard UK edition of Chain of Thorns. So the UK editions came naked though, which is why I really wanted these dust jackets, because I think Rosie Thorns is amazing and I had faith that she was gonna nail it, and she did, and I love them so much. I think they're so cute. They look so good. She does like papercraft art or something. I don't know what to call it, but it has like a very unique look to it. She can also do pen or digital, I suppose you would call it, but I love when she does this papercraft art. She also did the mug. It's very unique. I'm sure that other artists are also doing it, but I just really love her style. And then we have the Infernal Devices as well, which is one of the best trilogies. If you like fantasy romance, it's YA though, but it's lovely and it made me cry. And then I told my mom and she was like, you cried? Because I generally don't really cry a lot. So I was like, yeah, if you tell anyone, we got problems, okay? But now you all know, so the secret's out, I suppose. I didn't threaten my mom, I just want to say, just clarify. Anyway, we're moving on from Cassandra Clare to V. Schwab. This is kind of like an awkward angle to try and fix the camera, so if it looks like bend or weird fisheye, I don't know, it's just the lens, but we have at least some of my V. Schwab books. Anyway, this is a book tin from Alcrate. Osara and Rice's. This was the last one that they did, and I managed to get it with the box. I really would have wanted the red and the what's it called, the White London one, because it was red and white, but this is based on Black London, so it's inspired by A Darker Shade of Magic. I pre-ordered the Fragile Threads of Power from Waterstones, and I've never pre-ordered a book from Waterstones before, but have you seen the edges? So freaking good, like chef's kiss. Mwah. So we'll see. Other than that, we have Vengeful, which is the sequel to Vicious, and I do have it. It's just, as you can probably guess, it's wrapped up on my other shelves. We have the collector's edition of The Savage Song. I also have the regular edition, but it's currently wrapped up on my shelves. This is gorgeous though. Also has end pages that look like this. And I am planning on getting our dark duet to match with this one. This is the anniversary edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue with the stenciled edges, ribbon bookmark, and just general cuteness, if you will. Stunning end pages, and also we have foil on the naked cover, plus this edition, I've shown it off quite a lot here on the channel, but it also has this like a lot of art inside of it, which is super cute. Plus mine is also signed because I got one of the first rounds, so I don't know why I call it rounds when it's called prints, but anyway, I got it when it came out the first time. They've re-released them. I think they're still actually available, but I don't think they're still signed. I don't actually know fully. We have two editions of Gallant, because we have the Illumicrate edition, which has these funky edges. I love the roses. These roses are so pretty. And we have the Alcrate edition, which is super funny because it's so squared. Like, this size book is so funny. But it also has these very pretty end pages that look like this. And then it says, there must always be a prior at the gate, which makes sense if you read the book. This is like, I want to call it almost horror. Horror? Yeah. So it's YA, and I think a lot of people who really love V. Schwab don't necessarily love this one, but I wouldn't say it's a bad book. I enjoyed it. It's a very quick read as well. Like, you're supposed to read it in one sitting, according to Schwab herself. And then we have the collector's editions of A Darker Shade of Magic. I believe the sequel is signed. These have like end pages that have a lot of different art, so we can see the crew. This is not necessarily what they look like in the book. It's like a modernized version of them, which is kind of funny. Pretty sure this one is signed. Yeah, it is. So we have Lila and Kel. We have, oh, their names are over here. Well, there you go. There you go. There's a competition in this book, so these are like pictures inspired by the competition, which is why Mia looks a little bit funny. But yeah, lovely trilogy as well. I gave the sequel 5 stars, and I think the other two like 4.5 or something. I really enjoyed it. Oh, and Addie LaRue as well was one that I gave 5 stars. Such a beautiful book, but I can see why it wouldn't necessarily be for everyone. It just really made me think, so that's why I enjoyed it so much, and I would definitely give it a reread at some point. V. Schwab, who's actually doesn't actually fit on the shelf because I have more V. Schwab than shows, but it is what it is. I'll turn her around at some point. There'll be room for more, I think. So this is like my male high fantasy shelf, if you will. The camera's so crooked, we're gonna ignore it. But we have my Game of Thrones books, at least the first 5. So this is number 5, it's split up. And this is number 4 and it's split up. Kind of annoying, but I don't know why they did that. I got them in a box set in like 2012 or something. 2013 possibly. So I've had them for such a long time. I think I've already mentioned this when I talked about the Clash of Kings, but anyway, or a Clash of Kings. This is the Danish edition of the first Lord of the Rings, the movie tie-in. This is old. I mean, okay, it's not 1975 old, but it's from 2002. Oh, I should probably say this is inspired by, it's a T10, and it's inspired by Only a Monster. And then very fittingly over here we have Ciri Geralt and Jaskier slash Dandelion, who are standing in front of my Witcher books. I have the whole paperback set. I've only read The Last Wish, but I'm currently working my way through Sword of Destiny so I can actually get to like the main part of the series. I'm just really taking my time with it. But The Last Wish is really funny. I really liked it, and I like all the like nods to fairy tales in it as well. Like there's a bit of a Snow White retelling, a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I like that. I found that very funny. These are anniversary editions, I think, or illustrated editions of the Silmarillion and also the Lord of the Rings, and they have these like beautiful stenciled edges with language that I do not understand, but find them gorgeous nonetheless. I got this for my birthday from my brother. It also has this like die cut in the dust jacket, which is pretty cool. And I got this from my sister, also for my birthday. So I got both of them on the same day. She also bought one for herself and then was like, so we can read it together or something. But I power through books mostly, whereas it usually, and that's no offense, she has a newborn, so like no offense whatsoever, people read at different paces, but it takes her usually like half a year to go through one book, so I'm like, I don't really know if we can, but maybe I'll try. This also has these illustrations, which is pretty cool. So there's a couple of them done by Tolkien himself, which is super cool, I think. So there's one of like the gate to Miria, what's it called? That's not what it's called. I'm probably mixing it up with something else right now. You know the gates, the one where Gandalf says melon because it means friend. This one. No, there's a picture of that. Is it not the gate? I'm pretty sure it is. Moria, that's what it's called. Miria, what the heck? What am I thinking? Anyway, super cool editions, and I will definitely read them at some point when I feel brave enough to, which I will at some point, most definitely. I don't know, should I read the Silmarillion or the Lord of the Rings first? Because I know this takes place before, but I think this is easier. Let me know. But then we also have the Stormlight Archive, book 1, 2, 4. I got these 3 from my brother, and I bought this in a panic because I'm afraid the covers are gonna they're not gonna continue these covers. So I bought this in a panic because I like these covers a lot. Whereas I'm not really a fan of the new ones, the small hardbacks that they're doing. I just don't really love them. So got them in a panic. I'm very grateful that my brother got me all 3 of these though. He spent a lot of money on presents that year, like a whole lot. But they have these like stunning end pages. There's a map here in the back. One of them I'm pretty sure also has a map in the, this has a map as a dust jacket art, which is pretty cool. You can take it off and then have it lying in front of you when you're reading. But also stunning end pages, character art. I really need to continue reading The Way of Kings. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. You sound like you don't sound healthy. Like for some reason this doesn't sound healthy. I don't know, I'm scared. There's a lot of weight to these books. So like I can't actually sit in bed and currently I can't even sit down and read, which is the problem. I have some back issues, but I can't even lie in bed and read these books because they're so heavy, which is why I stopped reading, or I put The Way of Kings on pause because I was trying to save money on electricity and I was usually sitting at my computer and reading because I have nice lights, as you can probably tell. Oh no! This isn't. Oh no. This belongs to The Lord of the Rings. But yeah, gotta get started. I think I'm gonna restart it. Like, I think I'm gonna start over with The Way of Kings. But I'm really like, what I read, I really, really loved. Bit of a bummer that I had to stop, but you remember electricity prices were crazy for a second, right? Anyway, enough chitter chatter. Let's move on to the next one. So this is my red and black shelf where I have painted devils, so I'm probably gonna add this to here even though it's like slightly orange. But these 3 are special editions. This is the Alucard edition of Only a Monster. This fell apart when I was reading it. So I had to glue it back together. You can barely tell. Oh wait, it's not even this page. You can barely tell, right? Like you can't really tell. But I had to glue it back together. She looks all new and shiny. I was really hoping they were gonna do the sequel because I actually like this cover, but I don't think they're gonna do it. Then we have Gilded by Marissa Mayer, which is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, which is kind of funny. Didn't really love this book though, but I also have Cursed, which is the sequel, so I'm willing to give it a shot. This is Cruel Illusions, the Fairy Loot edition. It has a redesigned cover, minus slightly scratchy from over here, but anyway. It has a redesigned cover, which is very simple and then with red foiling. I love these edges, which is the sole reason I'm keeping this book, because I didn't actually like the book itself. I've read it. It wasn't great, but these edges are so stunning. What I'm very tempted to do is somehow get a spare dust jacket of Akotar and put it around it, because these remind me of Court of Thorns and Roses for good reason. But anyway. And then Little Thieves, which is the Illumicrate edition. Can't say much about the book itself, but like look at the cover on the naked, or look at the art on the naked cover. This is done by Margaret Owen herself. It's so good. It's so good. Ugh, so talented. She's so good. Other than that, I have actually read both A Dowry of Blood. This is a beautiful but very chilling book. Would recommend it. I don't want to call it a romance. There's romance in it, but I don't want to call it a romance because it's about an abusive relationship. But it's a retelling of Count Dracula and his wives, and it's just so good. You are reading from the point of view of his first wife, whose name I can't remember right now, but unfortunately, ironically, but she's basically writing a letter to Dracula, and you know that something has happened, but you just don't know what. So she's telling their whole like life story from when she was turned into a vampire and until this thing happened, and it's just so beautiful, but definitely a little bit chilling, so look up on some trigger warnings. Heartless is a retelling of The Queen of Hearts, and it was so good. Made me tear up. I know it's not necessarily for everyone, but I really loved it. So, but yeah, my red and black shelf. So we are at the bottom shelves now, which is great because I have a back injury and I'm in pain right now. But I'm going to show you my last 3 shelves, because this one right here is literally just, this is like DIY stuff from book boxes. So we're moving over here instead. So this is hopefully evidently clear from my Funko Pops and the creepy guy on the right, but this is like my horror shelf, I want to call it. So here we have Pennywise from It. We also have Chucky from Child's Play. We have Michael Myers from Halloween. We have Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And lastly, we have Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love horror movies, so I've been gifted all of these 5 figurines or pops or whatever you want to call them from family members, actually. This was actually given to me by my oldest sister and her 2 boys, and I can't imagine them going out and being like, yeah, let's buy that one for her. But they did, so thank you. I really love it, you know. I feel like me and Pennywise have something in common. As for the books though, we have quite some books down here that I've not read. We have Room and The Girl on the Train. These are old by now, but I'm keeping them just in case that one day I feel like reading them. We have the standard edition of Empire the Vampire by J. Kristoff. And this is the edition that I read back in the day. Love this book again. We also have book 2 and 3 in the Nevernight trilogy, also by J. Kristoff. Nevernight itself is currently wrapped on my shelves. Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, which I would say is like more like a comedic sort of horror. It has more like a horror vibe to it now and then. T. Kingfisher, as far as I know, has a very humorous approach to writing, but also does write horror. It's just a little bit like quirky, if you will, but it's really funny. Also reads like a fairy tale. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, which is the Fairy Loot edition, and I've heard so many good things about this book. So it's supposed to have an exclusive cover with the foil, but the foil is actually also on the trade paperback. It does, however, have art on the naked cover and also in the back. It's very dark, but there is art on it. It has, again, very dark end pages, but they're stunning. Same artist who did the end pages in A River Enchanted and also A Fire Endless, and they're different in the back, and I don't know who these characters are, but I suppose they're in the book. It also came with inside dust jacket art, so I will excuse that it doesn't have an exclusive cover because you can turn the dust jacket around. I'm very excited to read this at some point. I have it on Kindle, so I won't be reading this copy. We also have The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, which is the January Fairy Loot adult book from this year. I bought it off of a friend because I love these edges so much. They're so freaky, but I love them. This also has a foil on the naked cover, and it has such stunning end pages, or end papers. And then in the back, they're super creepy because she looks happy in the front and then sad in the back or angry-ish. And I just love it. I love the vibe. But yeah, I also have this on Kindle, so we'll be reading that at some point. House of Hollow is a YA horror, which is actually a bit like body horror, actually, so be aware of that, but I would recommend it for a spooky read. The Bone House is not necessarily a horror read, it's more like just a YA fantasy, but there's some vibes to it at times. I don't know why these three or these two are on the side, because they're technically book 10 and 11, but I'm gonna leave them there just to be annoying. But these are the Suki Stackhouse. Sorry, Soke Stackhouse books. I don't know, if you've not read or if you've not watched True Blood, that probably sounded super weird. But if you've read True Blood, I'm sorry. Watched it. What's going on? You would know anyway. These are books that I've had since 2016. They're not amazing in any way. They're just fun reads, you know? Like, just fun reads. And have like a little bit of a mystery vibe, a little bit of horror vibe sometimes to them. Paranormal, romance, you know, and southern states in the US. Just fun. World War C, which I was told to buy by my ex, and I haven't read it. And I don't know if I will, but anyway. And then we have, this is a Barnes & Noble's book, but like, I could be wrong. It might not be. Penguin Random House. Yeah, it's not. It's Penguin Random House. But it's Stephen King, so Carrie, The Shining, and Salem's Lot, which I might tackle one of. Oh, whoops. She's also gassy. I don't know. I might tackle one of these books in the fall, but I don't really know. I also have It, which I've not read, but I refuse to wrap it up because this is 1,400 pages. I cannot read that just because I accidentally pulled it off my shelves. I need to actually decide that I want to read it, so it's gonna wait a little bit. I have read major parts of American Psycho, but then started reading a fantasy book and I kind of forgot about it. This is very ranty though, but it's also like commentary on yuppies in the 1980s, 1990s in New York. And it is a lot at times. It's a lot of times. I love the cover. I think the cover is genius. But yes, it's a lot of times. So that was my horror shelf though. Surprisingly, I don't have a lot of it. If you have any horror recommendations, let me know. Because I love horror movies. I just haven't really found any horror books. Or not a lot of horror books yet. So this is mainly graphic novels, but also a little bit of manga and then some stuff that I couldn't fit in anywhere else. So we have my 2 Batman graphic novels. This is hands down a 5-star. This is so weird, or not weird, so wicked and messed up, and definitely a 5-star. I have not read The Dark Knight Returns yet, but I will be for sure. So these are a part of, I've talked about it before on the channel, but these are a part of the, do they call it Silver Age? Basically like a wave of darker superhero graphic novels that came out in the 80s. And yeah, they're kind of considered like graphic novel classics, if you will, a little bit. We also have Death Note Black Edition Volume 1 and 2 that I've read both of. And then I started watching the anime and then I just didn't buy the third one because now I know what happens. But the anime is pretty cool. We have Demon in the Wood, which is a part of the Grishaverse, and this is actually really cute style-wise. This is a short story that is in one of the Grishaverse books. I think it's like at the end of one of the Shadow and Bone books, but that it's illustrated as a graphic novel, and I really like the style. It's very nice. We have Fangs by Sarah Anderson, which is a short graphic novel about a vampire and a werewolf dating, which is pretty cute. I haven't read it yet, but I will this fall. I think I said that last fall, but I forgot. So we have From Hell Master Edition, which is about Jack the Ripper, and it's very dark. So Master Edition means that it is, whoa, noise. Means that it is in color, whereas the original was just in black and white. So yeah, I'm nervous going into this because I'm expecting horror vibes, but we'll see. We will see. We have Fruits Basket, which I have not read, but I think it's like a fantasy manga with romance. We also have Heartstopper Volume 1 and 2 in the deluxe editions. So these are hardback with foil, as you can probably tell, and also very cute end pages and papers, and they're all 4 coming out, and hopefully volume 5 as well. I'm assuming volume 5 as well. We have Lore Olympus, volume 1, 2, and 3, and I love love Lore Olympus so much. Like, I've talked about it so many times, but like, I love Lore Olympus. It's great. It's amazing. I love I love it so much. Anyway, I've only read volume 1, but I have high hopes for volume 2 and 3. So the funny thing is that these two are actually the US editions, and I didn't know that I had the first one as the US edition when I bought this one. So that's on me. I'm hoping I can get volume 4 and 5 in the Barnes & Nobles ones though. We have volume 1 to 4 of Monstrous, which is about a girl who has some very weird powers, and it's very gory, and the art style is very unique as well, very steampunk. Super cool though. And then we have Saga volume 1 to 3. I love this graphic novel. I've read the first 2, but I love them. It's so funny. It's just so funny. So that's the best thing I can, or the best way I can describe it. So funny. But also a little bit on the gory side. Expect nudity. Expect sudden nudity as well, like no warning or anything. Just suddenly there's a big something on the page, okay? Just be warned. We have Tokyo Ghoul volume 1, which I've not read. I've had it for years, but I've not read it. And then we have Uzumaki, which I got not too long ago actually. I think within the last like four months, which is about it's a horror, and it's about a city that is haunted by spirals. So Junji Ito is supposed to be like the master of horror graphic novels, so I'm very excited to read it at some point. And if it's super creepy, I'll buy his other 2 because, you know. We have V for Vendetta, which is also basically like a classic graphic novel. I have not read it, but my brother is bugging me about it, so I have it, I just haven't read it. Watchmen is another one of those superhero novels from 1980s that was a part of this wave of like darker superhero novels. I read it, it was a 5-star read for me. A lot of comments on politics and society and stuff in this one. Very interesting. Don't think superhero novel, graphic novel when you go into it, because that's not what it's gonna give. And then we have Wires and Nerves, which is a part of the Lunar Chronicles universe. So it's about Aiko, and I'm excited to read it at some point. I just want to read the Lunar Chronicles first, but I bought this used. It was very cheap all of a sudden, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a chance. Ace of Spades is not a graphic novel. It's a dark academia YA mystery, contemporary as well, with a lot of commentary on systemic racism. And I gave it 4.5 stars when I read it in 2021, so I would recommend it. We have the large print of the Lady Midnight that I mentioned earlier. We also have Seven Faces Saints by M.K. Lobb in the Fairy Loot edition, which I like this edition, I just don't love the book. Like, I didn't like the book. And lastly, well, aside from Harold, who is over here, we have my collector's edition of Caraval, which is also gifted to me by my friend who gave me the other collector's editions. But this is like very cool. It has the ticket for 1, or admit 1, and it's just very cool. Anyone who arrives later than this will not be able to participate or win this year's prize of 1 wish. Going through my books like this really makes me want to reread them all. Ugh. I do not have the time. Anyway, but that was it. That was the last book. For now, at least. So I genuinely thought that was gonna take like 1.5, 2 hours, but I think it's taken 3.5. We're way past midnight. My neighbors have been sleeping for a while, and I've just been talking in my office. I hope you enjoyed this bookshelf tour though. I know it went a lot more in depth than I intended to. I have a lot of books all of a sudden. I need to like figure out how to do this faster, if you will. But we'll do another one later this year because I'll probably reorganize them at some point within the next 6 months. So think like around Christmas time or something. But I hope you enjoyed this one though. I always enjoy watching bookshelf tours and seeing what other people have on their shelves, so hopefully this one could provide the same kind of interest to you, or entertainment? No, that's what it's called. Inspiration or something maybe, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also videos like wrap-ups that are hopefully a little bit shorter than this video will turn out to be. Also reading vlogs, TBR videos, bookish unboxings, and all the other booktube stuff, definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. However, I want to go now. Leave my neighbors in peace by stopping this talking. And I'm gonna leave you guys to it as well. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Oh, you know, beautiful, you